Hi guys, welcome to this episode of Know Your World with Nishi. Today I am delighted to share with you my knowledge and experience of this beautiful Central Asian country called Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan has some fascinating locations like Bishkek, Cholpon Ata, Karakol. I have videos on each of these locations, individual videos, but in this video I've covered these locations briefly. The links to these individual videos are there in the caption. I hope you like this video. Kyrgyzstan is one of the five stans of Central Asia: Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Turkmenistan. It shares its borders with Kazakhstan in the north and northeast, China in the east, Tajikistan in the south, and Uzbekistan in the west. While its cities may look a little less modern than, say, Almaty, Shymkent, or Tashkent, the country is blessed with nature. There are almost 2,000 lakes in Kyrgyzstan. The most famous, of course, being the Issyk Kul Lake. There are beautiful valleys, gorges, mountains. In fact, 90% of the country is mountainous. But if you are worried about windy roads, don't sweat. Roads to the important destinations like Cholpon Ata and Karakol are straight as they run close to the Issyk Kul Lake. Kyrgyzstan is also interesting for culture enthusiasts, where one can still observe some of the old nomadic traditions in the countryside. Kyrgyzstan is best visited between May and August or early September. I visited Kyrgyzstan in August and the weather was amazing. This is a great time for outdoor activities in the mountains such as trekking and horse riding, mountain biking, etc. Kyrgyzstan starts witnessing harsh winters from October onwards. In fact, few destinations in remote mountains remain fairly inaccessible due to heavy snow between October and March. However, this is a great time for those interested in winter sports. There are ski resorts near Bishkek and Karakol. The capital city of Bishkek has an international airport, the Manas International Airport, that has connections to major cities around the world. For those traveling from India, there are weekly flights between Bishkek and Delhi operated by Aero Nomad, which takes just about 3 hours. I travelled to Bishkek from Almaty in Kazakhstan by road and entered Kyrgyzstan at the Akzol border. The 3-hour drive from Almaty passes through stunning landscape of desert and mountains. The vehicle from Almaty that brought me to the border bid me farewell on the Kazakh side of the border. I walked through the immigration offices of both countries, got my documentation checked, and moved to the Kyrgyz side to find my guide Vadim and my vehicle waiting there. I suggest that one plans a visit to Kyrgyzstan for at least 7 to 10 days to cover the major destinations of Bishkek, Shonkemen, Cholpon Ata, Karakol, and Kyrgyzstan on a road trip around the famous Issyk Kul Lake. The process to obtain a visa to enter Kyrgyzstan is a fairly easy process and can be applied online. At present, the e-visa costs about $51 and is processed within 5 to 7 days. There's something important in the visa process that one should keep in mind. It is mandatory to mention the details of a local host or a Kyrgyzstan-based travel company in the application form. Without that, the visa is liable to get rejected. The bad news is, as in Kazakhstan, English isn't a commonly understood language in Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyz and Russian are the most common languages. Even the signboards are in these languages, and hence hiring an English-speaking guide may be unavoidable. I always prefer to hire a local guide to understand history, culture, and folk tales. Kyrgyz currency is som, and $1 yields approximately 90 soms. It is recommended to convert your currency upon arrival, as cash is preferred in many places. Roads within the famous destinations of Kyrgyzstan are fairly good. There is limited train connectivity between cities, and even if you want to use public transport of Marshrutka buses, you should have a plan to break the language barrier that comes with it. Kyrgyzstan has an efficient mobile network, especially in the cities. SIMs are easily available from retail outlets, and I use the services of Megacom. Traditional Kyrgyz cuisine mainly comprises of horse meat, lamb and dairy products, which was part of their nomadic lifestyle. Borsog bread, hand-pulled lagman noodles, kazi, which is horse sausage, khordak, which is roasted lamb, kurut or salted cheese balls, and kumis, the fermented horse milk, are few of the staple Kyrgyz dishes. Maksim, shalap and kwas are traditional Kyrgyz beverages made from cereals, which are quite popular as coolers in the hot summers. Eastern parts of Kyrgyzstan also has an influence of Dungan Chinese cuisine. Ashlan Fu cold noodles, Hogo hot pot and a variety of vegetables are part of local Dunganese cuisine. Other Central Asian delicacies such as pulao rice, which is the origin of what we know as pulao in India, manti dumplings, samsa, which we know as samosa, and tandoor naan are available in most restaurants. One can also try Russian dishes like the tangy solyanka soup, which is a thick soup made with salty cured meats, sausages, olives, capers, pickles, cabbage and sometimes carrots. Then there is the borscht beetroot soup, tworog, which is cottage cheese, piroski, which are stuffed buns, and kompot tea made of fruits, herbs and berries. The Kyrgyz people date back to the 1st century BC. They were originally a forest-dwelling tribe found in the central Siberian region. Over centuries, they migrated southwards to the steppes and were split across many tribes. Manas, the great king of the region in the 9th century, unified the various nomadic tribes and formed the Kyrgyz Khanate. Kyrgyz cities such as Balasagun, Osh, Uzgen were also part of the Silk Route. They were later annexed by the Mongol Empire in the 13th century. In the early part of the 19th century, they were conquered by the Kokand dynasty. Russians entered the region at the behest of one of the warring tribes and built a fort at Aksu in 1863. By the early 20th century, Kyrgyzstan had become a part of Soviet Union. Kyrgyzstan finally got its independence on 31st August 1991 after the collapse of USSR. Kyrgyzstan is home to people from various ethnicities and tribes. The Kyrgyz, who were once a nomadic tribe of the Central Asian steppes, form the vast majority of Kyrgyzstan's population. Ethnic Russians form roughly 10% of the country's population. During the Soviet era, several ethnic groups from various parts of USSR also settled in Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan still has a sizable population of Uzbeks, Kazakhs, Tatars, Dungan Chinese and more. The Turkic tribes of Central Asia, including the Kyrgyz, were originally followers of the nomadic Tengri faith. Their supreme deity was Tengri, the sky god, and his wife Umay, the Mother Earth goddess. Tengrism was animist in nature and involved shamanistic rituals for appeasing nature spirits. The remnants of the animistic culture can be seen in the Balbal tombstones at various archaeological burial sites in Kyrgyzstan. Today, the Sunni form of Islam is the most prevalent religion. Islam was introduced in Central Asia by the Arabs in the 9th century AD and later spread through the rule of various Persian empires. Russians introduced Christianity when they came in the 19th century. Most travelers start their journey of Kyrgyzstan at the capital city of Bishkek. Much of Kyrgyzstan's history is captured in its State History Museum that is close to its prominent city center, the Alatu Square. One is amazed to be sitting in front of the Supreme Council Parliament, a building that houses the President's office without guard or commando in sight. Round up your trip of Bishkek with some shopping at Osh Bazaar that sells exotic fruits, food, clothes, and electronics. Not far from Bishkek is the Burana Tower, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that stands in the ancient city of Balasagun, a major trading center on the Silk Route. For some me time, head to Chonkemen National Park for some serious nature therapy. As one moves eastwards, one gets to drive along the famous Issyk Kul Lake to get to the lakeside resort city of Cholpon Ata. Cholpon Ata offers close views of the stunning lake as well as exciting water sports. There's also Rukhordo, the open-air cultural center, and the Petroglyphs open-air museum. Not far from Cholpon Ata is the Grigorievka Gorge and Kirchen Valley that offers stunning vistas of valleys and mountains. Moving further eastwards, one reaches Karakol. Karakol is one of the largest cities in Kyrgyzstan and falls on the eastern edge of the famous Issyk Kul Lake. The city was established as a frontier outpost by Russian explorers in 1869 and was the starting point for Russian expeditions eastward to China and Tibet. Karakol is an all-season destination. During summers, one can go on hiking trails all over its surrounding mountains, while the winter season offers among the finest skiing experience in Central Asia. In the southern part of Kyrgyzstan are the cities of Osh and Jalalabad that offer trails through mountain passes and serene lakes. Some of the famous ones are the Jagar Karagate Pass, Songkol Lake, and Narin River. Kyrgyzstan can be covered as a standalone country or in combination with Almaty in Kazakhstan. A week is enough if one plans to visit only the famous destinations of Kyrgyzstan. However, it could take a little longer if one chooses to add Almaty and its neighborhood to the journey. Guys, by now you must have got a sense that Kyrgyzstan is just blessed with nature. I have individual videos on Bishkek, Cholpon Ata and Karakol. Do check them out when you have some time. And if you are interested in Central Asia, do follow this channel. Thanks for watching.
Unwinds live their stories